Hello and welcome everyone to the 13th gathering of young Theosophists from around the world. It's quite amazing that we've already done 13 of these. So I'm very excited and happy to be your host. My name is Justin Tanksley and I'm coming from the Theosophical Society in America. Before we get started with introductions, maybe we can all just relax, and I will do a short reading of the Golden Stairs, followed by a moment of silence. So if everyone wants to straighten their back and relax their body, close your eyes if you're comfortable. The Golden Stairs. A clean life, an open mind, a pure heart, an eager intellect, an unveiled spiritual perception, a brotherliness for all, a readiness to give and receive advice and instruction, a loyal sense of duty to the teacher, a willing obedience to the behest of truth. Once we have placed our confidence in and believe that teacher to be in possession of it, a courageous endurance of personal injustice, a brave declaration of principles, a valiant defense of those who are unjustly attacked, and a constant eye to the ideal of human progression and perfection, which the secret science depicts. These are the golden stairs up the steps of which the learner may climb to the temple of divine wisdom. Okay. Greetings, everyone. Welcome. As I had said, I'm Justin Tanksley, and I will be your host tonight, or today, or this evening, this afternoon, wherever we are in the world. And we have a panel of speakers. We'll have some questions that I'll be asking, and perhaps the first question could be answered in the same order that I introduce everyone, and then after that, we can kind of just go based on who wants to answer the question. So our first panelist is Ananda Winter, and she's a researcher and doctoral candidate in political science at the Federal University of Minas Gerais. She joined the Theosophical Society in 2011, and she is a member of the Alvarado Lodge in Brasilia. Andrea Corona was born and lives in Mexico City, Mexico. She's 27 years old and is a third-generation Theosophist. Since her childhood, she has been close to Theosophy thanks to her grandmother, Leonor Ruiz, a member for more than 15 years. And it is she who helped shape Andrea's spirituality. She recently formally enrolled in Theosophy. Maria de Los Angeles Silva Maldonado is known by her friends as Angie. She is Mexican and is 24 years old. She is studying communication, accountability, career, and fashion design. She has been in the Mexican Theosophical Society since she was 12 years old. One of her life proposals is to show the world the teachings that she has learned at the Moria Lodge and the search of truth. Miriam Martínez is a 27-year-old member of the Theosophical Society since 2016. She comes from the Hesperia Lodge, Madrid, Spain. Her biggest impression about growing up in a Theosophical family is how different your life can be. Sometimes even when you want to pursue a spiritual life, it's hard because you need support. Having been bred in a Theosophical family provides Miriam with that. and it's something she is deeply grateful for. Stephanie Vargas Quellar, telecommunications engineer, master in project management, and she began attending lodge meetings at a very young age. She remembers going with her mother to those meetings since she was 6 years old. Thus, Theosophical teachings were always present in her life, becoming a way of life. Currently, editor of the Bolivian magazine of Theosophy, librarian of the Theosophical Society of La Paz City, and volunteer in the TOS La Paz, Bolivia. Active member of the group of organizers of young Theosophists in the Spanish section. Her purpose now is to work on the spread of Theosophy and service. And Swathi is from India and graduated from Mount Carmel College in India in 2007. She has worked as a yoga instructor in various organizations and places since 2017 and is currently pursuing a PhD in an integrated course in yoga. She is currently a professor at Mount Carmel College in India and the founder of Swayam Vikas Center for Learning and Self-Development, Bangalore. So welcome panelists, speakers. And so we had a good amount of questions that were entered. So thank you for everyone who put their mind to the task and developed some questions. I have here a few of them, and we'll see how many we get through today. So speakers, if you'd like, you can answer the question in the same order that I just introduced you. But if we get out of order, that's totally fine. There's no pressure on who goes first. And if there's a question I ask that you just don't really want to respond to or have no response, that's also okay. So I'll start with a first question. So, and this will be addressed to Ananda, if it's okay for you to answer first. In your own words, what is Theosophy and what does it mean to you? And also, in your opinion, is the Theosophical Society for everyone?
Okay, so first of all, I just want to thank you all for all the questions, because this was a very good exercise to think about this whole experience. So it was good to, I was just taking a look at the questions and trying to think about the answers. So it was a very good exercise. So thank you. I think that I will begin with the last question. Yes, I do think that Theosophy is for everyone. Of course, this answer depends on what we think is Theosophy. But if we are attached to the main principle of universal brotherhood and the idea of the unicity of life, I think there's no way to say that it is not for everyone, right? So that's why I think it is for everyone who wants to learn it, and even for the ones who don't know they want to learn it. I don't know if you understand, but it is there, and therefore it is for everyone. So, and I think this also answers what I think it is Theosophy. If I should resume it, put it in one word, I would say love for existence and for all beings. And of course, we can go on more detailed explanations, but this is the first thing I think about. And that's why I would say it's something that should grow inside everyone. That's it.
Okay, if Andrea, if you'd like to answer, I can repeat the question. In your own words, what is Theosophy? What does it mean to you, in your opinion? Or in your opinion, is the Theosophical Society for everyone?
Well, thank you for the invitation. Well, Theosophy for me is the search from the truth. Having all the studied all the religions, I think is make it easy for the people to find your own path, your spiritual path. I think Theosophy is for everyone who is willing to learn and to comprehend the world in very different aspects, and not only the way that most society sees it. Yeah, that's
Thank you. And next up, we have Angie.
Hi. Okay, answering both questions. I think that the soul first needs an innate desire to definitely learn what is Theosophy. For me, Theosophy it's in every single thing I do. I mean, not like it's impossible, but when I started to study this, I discovered that all these teachings you can find it in every single action and in every single things that we are living in our day, and it's important to me to say that for me the Theosophical Society or Theosophy, it's more than only just a study of all religions, philosophies, and science, and these all ancient and modern religions and occultism. It's like a system that explains us the secret of life. And that's for me, the Theosophy. And I think that it's for all people, but not all people has this desire to learn it, and it's not prepared to learn it, but it could be in this life or in another. I always say that. Thank you. And thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Okay, next up, if Miriam, if you'd like to answer the question, if you need me to repeat it, just let me know.
It's okay. It's okay. Thank you, Justin, and thank you, everyone. I am really glad to be seeing you. And the ones I'm not seeing, well, I'm imagining your faces, and it's really nice. I would like to answer the second question first. I think Theosophy is for everyone, and I would like Theosophy to be for everyone. Sometimes I think that Theosophy can be regarded as a body of doctrines, just that, as Angie said, but it's really more than that. To me, Theosophy is life, and so everyone has the right, if he or she wants, to be part of it. But of course, it's just one decision that has to come from the soul.
Okay, and Stephanie, if you'd like to.
Yes, thank you. Well, for me, Theosophy is a way of life. No? Theosophy were always there for me in my childhood. So it was always there, and it really feels natural. All the teachings, and now I try to practice and practice all the teachings and put it in my life, in every problem, how to react. So Theosophy, it's always there for me, and I try to practice every day. And I think, as the other girl said, Theosophy is for everyone that especially desire to answer those questions that you can find those answers in another place. So yeah, I think it's a call from inside, you know, your inner side, your inner life, that encouraged to search. And some people find Theosophy, and other people find in another places, but for me, it's for everyone.
Okay, thank you. And Swathi, would you like to answer this question as well?
Thank you, Justin. Like everyone said, just definitely Theosophy is for everyone. Specific, if I have to be more specific, I think it's for people who really want to know themselves, or the spiritual journey, if they want to know more about it, or the inward journey. It's mainly for them. And I think only such people end up being part of this organization. And what is Theosophy? Just when everyone was talking about it, I was just thinking, and I'm associated with Theosophical Society ever since I was a child, and my grandparents were into it, my parents, and then me. So as a child, I always went to the campus, and I enjoyed playing there, and I didn't really understand what was happening there, but it was a lot of talks. There were a lot of talks and many activities for children. As a child, I understood the place differently. As a teenager, I understood it differently. But now, each time I read books of Theosophy and attend the discussion sessions and talks, each time I attend these sessions, I understand Theosophy a little better than before. So it's very hard to define Theosophy in one sentence. And what I would just say is it's a wonderful learning experience throughout my life with Theosophy. And I think it's a continuous process. It's the journey within. It's a continuous process and a wonderful opportunity which our seniors have left behind for us to know and learn more. And I can just keep talking, but there's so much to know and talk about Theosophy.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Okay, so in this question, let's go in the opposite order. So Swathi, you'll answer first for this one. So, and this is an interesting question. So the question is, have you ever questioned the teachings of Theosophy? And you know, whether you just, maybe you learned something in science class that contradicts what your understanding was, or maybe you come across another teaching from another religion, perhaps, and you just, have you ever questioned the ideas of Theosophy in regards to some things you might come across?
Yes, yes, I have. There are certain things that is beyond my understanding when it comes to Theosophy, because I have not experienced it myself. So I cannot comment on those aspects. So I would not like to touch upon those aspects. The ones which I have experienced, or which I have learned in other texts. For example, I have a yoga background. So in Theosophy, we talk about the different sheets of the human body, the different sheets. So in yoga, we have from Taittiriya Upanishad, when we see the order in which it is, and the classification is slightly different. So it's a little confusing to, go ahead and just say this is right and that is wrong. It's very difficult to say. And again, it's not in our experience, so we cannot see it, neither can we feel it. And in yogic terms, in yoga, we have certain methods which, with a lot of practice, leads us to those experiences where we can feel and experience those things. But then again, like I said, I haven't reached that stage, so I cannot question it. But yes, the classification and the nomenclature and things like that are slightly different from these texts. But it's very interesting because when I got into yoga, it was not difficult for me to understand these things because I had already read this in the Theosophy books. So it was very interesting to know that there is another perspective in another, Upanishad. Yeah.
Thank you. And Stephanie, if you'd like to share your ideas about this question.
Yes, also I have questioned some things, but I think it's natural for a human being to question some things, and it's up for us to keep searching and keep the study, theosophical studies, teaching. Sorry, and when I was a child, I grew up in a Catholic school. So I started to ask more questions about the Catholic and the Bible things instead of the theosophical teachings. So it was interesting sometimes because I remember when I was in school, we have religions as a subject. So the teacher talking about the Bible, I asked so many questions that finally he sent me to detention to stop asking questions because sometimes he didn't had all the answers. So yeah, I think that's an experience.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And Miriam?
Well, yes, I did, and I still do sometimes, I have to admit. And I don't know, I think it's normal at some point, but it's not like I reject some things. It's like Swathi said, I don't know the answer, so I just leave it to be, and we'll see in the future, because after some times, personally, I realize, well, I know nothing, so I have everything to know, right? And one thing that really confused me when I was studying, relating for example, the secret doctrine, when Blavatsky speaks about the human evolution and all of that, sometimes it's contradictory to what, for example, Charles Darwin says. So it was like, I don't know what to put in the exam. What's sort of right? And yeah, well, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. And Angie?
Yes, of course. Have many times I have questioned, and every day that I discover new or that I study another new thing, I started to question. I think that this is the clue for me to understand all the theosophical teachings. And of course, in a point of my life, I think that in different environments or social groups, it's like an obstacle because me too, I was in a Catholic school, so it's very difficult. It's very difficult to question the teachings of theosophy and the Bible, and I was like, but it's something more than a heaven. I mean, for me, it was like, no, but it exists apropos, and a lot of things that in my school was like, wait, that's bad. You are going to go to the hell. I was like, no. I mean, for me, it makes sense. It makes sense. And yes, in that environment and in my life, should I have of this knowledge? Because, like I said in my other answer, not all the people. The theosophy is for all the people, but I think that not all the people is prepared to having this knowledge at this moment of their lives, and it's respectful, and it's okay, but it's very difficult, like finding a way to show these people what I am thinking, what I am learning, what the teachings tell me, you know. Thank you.
That's very nice. Okay, and Andrea?
Of course, I have questioned some principles of the Theosophy, but I really haven't questioned that deep, because I think the way that Theosophy has been taught to me hasn't been so extreme that I always think that all the truths can be in the same word. Like, I haven't questioned that the Darwin theory is real in comparison maybe with some theosophical principles now. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because a lot of the differences we may encounter can definitely be reconciled, and they're really just different expressions and different ways of organizing information. So yeah, I like that. And Ananda, sorry to make you wait, but we have an order.
Don't worry, it's good to change. Yes, I do have questions. I still do, as Miriam said. And I think that when I was a child, I was a very dogmatic child. So whatever I heard my parents say, it was true. I went to the lectures, I listened to it, and it was true. I needed this certainty, I think. Maybe as a child, I needed some certainty. And in my child head, everything was in harmony. There was no place for conflicts or contradictions. And I think somewhere inside of me, this feeling of harmony and of everything is still there, but now it's more hidden. So I think that as the years went by, growing up in the Theosophical Society, I started to question more. It's not, I was taking a look at, thinking about it, and it's not like at some point it started making sense. Maybe it was the opposite. First, everything made sense, and everything was true. And then as the years went by, I started questioning, especially being in the social sciences realm. I think there are some things that sometimes I find some contradictions, and I try to harmonize it, but sometimes it's hard. And I think maybe some ideas that we sometimes discuss about karma, about dharma, all these things, with having a background on other sciences, there are some conflicts, but I think that it is good. And so I think this is something that I always struggle with, whether it is good to doubt or it is bad, because sometimes we read in some books that we should not doubt because the doubt paralyzes us, but at the same time questioning makes us go forward. So I always struggle with this dilemma. And yes, I guess that's it.
Thank you all for sharing those perspectives with us. Let's just take a quick look at our time. Okay, so we're a half hour in. We have plenty of time here. For this third question, I will ask, and then I will just go through and I'll say your name for the response, and so I can mix up this order a little bit. So, and this kind of coincides with the last question, maybe, but there's a lot more. Were there any particular challenges that you faced growing up in a theosophical family that perhaps some of us who didn't grow up in a theosophical family didn't have to face? So let's start with this question. I will ask Miriam first.
Well, I think there was some moral dilemmas, but I am not sure if that could be different for someone raised in a theosophical family or not. Sometimes it was related to, well, I know I have this and I know that this is the right thing to do, but maybe the environment that I am relating to doesn't think that way. So what should I do? But I think it's something more related to about how someone is and what are your principles in life. I don't know. I don't know if I answered the question. I think I went a little bit to the branches. I don't know.
No, I appreciate that. And let's do Maria or Angie. I'm sorry.
Could you please? I don't understand at all the question, so please can you repeat me?
Okay, and it doesn't. And as Miriam alluded to, perhaps there were no special challenges, but growing up in a theosophical family, were there any particular challenges that resulted because you were a theosophist and friends or people you come into contact with were not, or they didn't understand? So were there any challenges because of that?
Yes, I think that for me, it was a challenge since I was in the school, and then the fact of growing up in these minds of theosophical ideas and these experiences, it's an obstacle sometimes for me, and it had been an obstacle in the past because in the environments in my life, it doesn't check a lot for other kids. Or I mean, I was a cheerleader, and now I am a model, and I am in a beauty contest, and it's very difficult that some things are like very spiritual for me, and that has another meaning, and that makes to other people to I don't know how to say it. Give me a second. To reject me, yes, to reject myself, and also when I was in politics, this has been an obstacle because I could not understand that corruption and or illicit things had to be done without taking into account the impact in karma and in everything that triggers doing bad actions. I mean, yes, it was like a lot of challenge along of my life because I started starting this since I was very young. I mean, I am listening about this since I was born, imagine. So when I was like 10 or 11 years old, I was talking about like the transformation of a human, of a spiritual transformation, and my classmates, my partners in the class were like, "Are you mocking me? This is serious?" are you crazy, girl? And I was like, no, I'm not crazy. I am listening about this. And Blavatsky says this. And I was teaching, and I was learning that all our body has energy, and that impacts, and that all the things we said, it's an impact in the universe, and makes this butterfly effect and these things. And it was a really huge challenge in my life. I mean, but I'm okay with that, because I already understand that it's not personal, that it's particular of every person if wanna listen to me or not, and it's okay. I respect all ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Seems like you were able to plant a lot of seeds in your peers' mind and heart at a young age, so that's a good thing. Next, let's Stephanie, would you like to answer this question?
Yes. Yes, like Angie said, when I was in school or little, when I was 10, 11, in the late 90s, talking about karma, for example, or the meaning, the simple meaning when you're a kid, but that word or the meaning of that word, it wasn't really known as is it now. It's more common that you hear though. Some people said, "Oh, it's karma," but in that time it wasn't really known so well. So it was really strange for some kids, like, what are you talking about? And but when I returned to my house and talking to my mother, it was really comfortable to be supported. My parents were always supported in that aspect. So as a family, I didn't think we have any challenges. But yeah, sometimes we have, well, I had those experiences in a school.
Thank you. Okay, let's go with Swathi.
So Theosophy was never challenging to me, I think. But in turn, in the other way, on the other way around, if we see, I think it has made me very unique. I stand out everywhere. That's what all my friends or people who meet me for the first time, this is what they notice about me, that it has made me unique. I've been able to stand up to my interests and stand up to my interests and be expressive about how I feel and what I do. Yes, since my parents were into Theosophy, they have always allowed me to be the way I am. They've never forced me to be someone else. So this is probably the knowledge that they gained from Theosophical Society. And that has made me, be me. And recently when I did intelligence test, it would actually show us which profession would suit us best. And I am actually doing whatever suits me best based on my intelligence, because I went by my interests and not by the pressure of the society. So yes, I think because we follow the principles of Theosophy and the teachings of Theosophy, I think, yes, life has thrown tough situations at me also at times, but these teachings have somehow made me strong. And yeah, I think because of that, I am what I am today. And definitely, no, it has not been challenging for me.
Nice. Thank you. And Andrea.
Yes. Um, well, I think there has been challenge with the Theosophy when I grew up, in the sense like Theosophy was teach from my grandma. My mother has not so long that she joined the Theosophists. So it was a little tired as a child when I do something wrong and my grandma have to tell me about it. It all have to do with Theosophy. And as a child, it's like, oh my God. it's tired because you don't understand, or you don't understand all, right? And also in like school and having friends, it was a little complicated because it's very different, the things that I believe that here in Mexico society is common to believe, that is totally Catholic. So saying that you believe in karma and you believe in other lives, and seeing like all the people that have your age like watching you like, what are you talking about? It's a little challenge to search and to find friends that maybe don't believe in that, but have the open mind to only listen, no? And respect that you believe a very different thing that it is common in your society.
Thank you. And Ananda.
Yes. Well, I think that I agree with Swathi. I see more advantages. I don't see many challenges. I think that, of course, as a child, there were some moments of realizing this difference of perspective, like being the only vegetarian family in town. And I always had my special meal in birthday parties. So this is Ananda's meal. It was always like that. Also, when you are a child and you have to explain the origin of your name, why do your parents came up with your name? So for me, it was always also a huge explanation, because my dad joined the Theosophical Society and he got in contact with this name, Ananda. So this was always an explanation too. And I remember when I was 7 years old and I was in first grade, and my teacher was talking about the planets and this, planet Earth. And I raised my hand and I asked her how many worlds were there in a planet. And everybody started laughing, and the teacher didn't know what to say. And for me, this was a question that belonged at school, but it didn't. But anyway, it was an experience of this difference of perspectives. But on the other side, the advantages that Swathi were talking about, knowing what you're doing, I think it gave me always this search to look for, why am I doing what I am doing? And it is tiring, but it's also good, because when you find some answers, it's a good feeling. And also, when I was a younger teenager, my friends, I used to invite my friends to go to my house, and sometimes they would listen to my dad talk about the symbolism behind I don't know the name of this painting in English, from Da Vinci, from the Last Meal. I don't know the name in English.
The Last Supper.
Yes, that's it. So he will be talking about the sign of each one there, and the meaning of the gestures, and it was very enchanting. Like, everybody was so interested, and it was an advantage. I felt like everybody liked going to my home to, discover some new things. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, I thank many of you for bringing up that point, that it's not only a challenge, but it's also an advantage. I think just overall growing up in a theosophical home is a tremendous blessing and opportunity for anyone who has the that possibility. I say opportunity because maybe not everyone who grows up this way cares to learn more or understand Theosophy at the depth that all of you here today on the panel seem to grasp and understand and care for it. So I will ask, there's so many more questions. And once again, I thank everyone for sending these questions in. I will ask one more, and because we have about 10 minutes for the hour. And then after that, we will leave it open for questions from the audience or comments from everyone watching. So let's see, I will just pick one more. Okay, so this question is, what advice would you give to someone hoping to raise children in a theosophical family? And we can start here. We'll start with Andrea.
Well, personally, I like being grown in a Theosophical family, even though it was a little tired, as I said, to every lecture to be about Mam Blavatsky sometimes. But yes, my spiritual beliefs, I am very happy where is my spiritual path. But I can speak maybe as an example, my brother is not very happy with this way of we growing, that everything has to be about Theosophical in some way. So I really think that the principles must be taught, but not imposed, because everyone has to search their own path and their own spiritual path. And maybe Theosophical is not something that the child, even as a child, you don't understand in great, you don't have that great awareness now. So yes, the approach, but them to decide if they want to continue or not.
Mm-hmm. That's very nice. Next, let's do Stephanie.
Thank you. Well, I'm already a mom, and my son is 12, and I'm doing what my mom did with me. I took my son with me to lodge meetings, and times when I talk, it is a really good a blessing. Well, it was for me. All that I have learned since I was little, maybe it could be a simple things, but it really meant a lot. And when you're a child, the mind is like a sponge. So it's really important for me that I do it, and I teach my son with these teachings. And like Andrea was saying, you can tell your child, but after, when they grow up, they can choose to stay in this path or go to another. My mom did it to me. She never pushed me but she never, it was my decision to follow the same teachings and the same path. So as a parent, I think that it's the it is the thing that we have to do for our kids.
Thank you very much. And let's go with Angie.
Hi. Okay. The question I would advise today, that not to fear what they don't understand, that it's very important to never stop studying and questioning themselves, and when they feel that they know everything, always look for the other side of the things and discover that in really there is always a lot to learn. And the most valuable experience I can share it with you, it's that I got from my parents, and it's about of congruence and incongruence. While my father did not understand or comprehend our search of truth, my mom, on the other hand, yearned and searched for that knowledge and spirituality, and it has been a great lesson, and I'm infinitely grateful for that. And I can say that spiritualize ourselves with the elevated perception of consciousness, but any member of the family is forced to belong to the society. If they don't want to or they don't understand it, it's okay. We all have our perfect time, and I will advise that it's difficult. It's really a challenge to teach and to explain how the laws of the universe works, and how we should all be a brotherhood. When in the school, children and teachers will bombard all the kids and all the young people with ideas that are different and sometimes even contradictory to the theosophical teachings. It will take a lot of patience and dynamics to explain many topics, but it's okay. You only have to let it be. And that's the reason that one of my personal projects is to create a children's area on the knowledge within the society, in order to support parents and members who choose it to teach this to children, and to have like another mode for teaching all this, but not force it. If the children says no, it's no. That's all. It's respect.
Yeah. Thank you. And Ananda?
Well, based on my experience of being raised and not raising children, I would say that to not worry too much. I think that if you are in the Theosophical Society, if you are trying to apply that knowledge on your daily life, it will reflect on the way you raise your children. So I think if you're trying to transform this knowledge in practical things, it will be there anyway. And curiosity, questions will come naturally from the children. And I think, I don't know, I'm talking about my experience, but it worked like that. And I think my parents were ready to answer in a very pedagogical way things. So I don't know, children always have questions about the world, about death, about life, time. So it will be there in the way you will answer these questions. So I don't think there's a way to teach, but it will be there.
Yeah, it's a nice insight. And so we have Miriam and then Swathi. We'll let you finish.
Okay. Well, I think that kids already have a lot in themselves. And well, I can I'm not allowed to give advice because I'm not a mom, so I have no idea. But what I would like for my kids would be that, I don't know, maybe you already have perceived that kids, especially when they are really little, they have like a unique way to see things. It can be a tree, it can be an ant, it can be the really simple things, but they look at them with so much attention, with that look of, wow, this is a tree, this is new. Like they're living. I don't know, they're flowing with the life. I don't know, it's really beautiful. And I would like that my kids doesn't lose that. And I will encourage them to always look things with that deepness. Because I think that there are many ways to be a theosophist. Maybe that doesn't have to do with belonging to the theos. Just maybe.
That's a good point. And Swathi, to finish up the last question.
Yes. So yeah, like the child is introduced to a lot of things in life, this also should be part of it. And it's up to the child to choose what he or she wants to do, like everyone said. But yes, introducing to theosophy is good, is what I think. But going ahead with it is up to the child.
Very nice, short and sweet. So this concludes the question and answer portion, at least from in regards to the questions sent in. What I think we should do is we can close with the meditation, and Raphael can stop the recording afterwards, and then we can continue with some questions from everyone viewing, or if someone has a comment, I think we can go ahead and do that. So we'll just end with a saying of the O Hidden Life. So, O hidden life, vibrant in every atom. O hidden light, shining in every creature. O hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May all who feel themselves as one with thee know they are therefore one with every other. Peace, peace, peace to all beings. Okay. Thank you all once again. Thank you everyone on the panel. Those were amazing answers, a lot of insight, and I really appreciate listening to that. And I also want to thank everyone for listening and watching, whether you're on YouTube or here in Zoom with us. Thank you. And thank you, Raphael, for managing the Zoom and YouTube. And thank you everyone who helped to organize this youth gathering.